Welcome everyone to the Dr. Abs Healthcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brian Abasolo, aka Dr. Abs, and on today's show we have a leader in holistic healthcare. His name is Dr. Trent Mozingo. A little background on Dr. Mozingo: he grew up on a small farm in southeastern Indiana, where he learned the hard work that goes into raising food from the ground up. With a large garden, farm-raised beef, pork, and chicken eggs, his family always had home-cooked meals that were raised on the farm. Growing up, he never knew the value of his childhood education until he began his pursuit of becoming a chiropractor at Palmer College of Chiropractic. My alma mater, I might add. Now, there he learned how the human body works, and he applied his childhood education to understand how food plays an important role in keeping the body working at its best. He wrote his first book, The Wait is Over, to help people understand the inner workings of the human body and to help them take control of their own health. With great detail and reader-friendly analogies, The Wait is Over takes the reader on a journey to build an understanding how their health came apart and how they can put it back together. I'm excited to talk to Dr. Mozingo, so let's get the interview started. Welcome to the Dr. Abs Healthcast, Dr. Mozingo. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So obviously I'd love to bring you on today. We're going to talk a little bit about weight loss and your book, The Wait is Over, the links between food, health, and weight that your doctor hasn't told you. So just to start things off, tell me about the overweight epidemic that we have here in the country. I know you talk a lot about that in your book, and why you believe this epidemic has gotten so out of control.
We've lost our way is what in the reaction of what food actually is. A lot of the research I did for the book goes back to how the human body actually works and how it's designed to eat and what it's designed to eat. And since about 1900, we've lost that completely. I'll detail a lot about, the hunter and gatherer days where we didn't have a job from 8 to 12 or 8 to 4 every single day, or no one worked nights in those days. It was a very, very easy, simple life where you just woke up, you found food and went to sleep when it got dark. Is kind of the real how the human body is, since the beginning of the human race, I guess, if you will. And since then, we've changed that dramatically since the Industrial Revolution, where instead of waking up every day to raise healthy food and nourish our human body, right, with gardens and farming, and we've kind of centralized this industrial world where we wake up every day to go work to make money to buy things. But in there, we've lost the interest of buying healthy and nutritious food. We would rather spend our money on other things like bigger houses and nicer cars. So healthy food has kind of went to the wayside, where we buy the cheapest junk we can at the largest volume. And as that come through, the powers that be, the agricultural industry kind of fed into what the market is buying. And roughly 1977 is, in my opinion, where we all went really wrong. And that was during a time where people were really unhealthy and they were starting to notice it because that food shift happened from 1900 to then. And George McGovern was put into a committee to try to change that, and he did. They wrote I think it's called the Nutritional Health Guidelines, the Dietary Guidelines of 1977. And at this point, they kind of grabbed on to Ansel Keys's work, and they started to demonize things like cholesterol and animal fats and things like that. And by doing that, the agriculture industry saw that grains could replace this diet of animal fats. And then after that became, the food pyramid and an excess of bleached flour and high fructose corn syrup just flooded our entire diet system. And it's in almost every one of our, processed foods at this point.
Yeah, no, completely agree with you. Now, the entire weight loss industry is absolutely huge. I mean, billions and billions of dollars spent every year as a nation, but for whatever the reason, we know the reasons, but this nation continues to gain weight. So, people got their doctors, prescribing more and more medications, but little to no wellness is preached.
Sure.
So what gives with that? Like, what needs to happen in our healthcare system for our doctors to, to promote that wellness?
Humans have to change. We are
No.
lazy and looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
When you actually, and I have a lot of patients that come to me and they talk to me about, their weight and things, and they become a little offended when you start to discuss their habits that are creating the problem.
Yeah.
People are kind of wanting to be told that they have some inherent problem, that it's not their daily lifestyle or habits or lack there of exercise or eating too much junk food is their health problem. It's their body has a genetic predisposition for a health issue, right? They have a family history of diabetes, so they're kind of they're going to get it, and they're just kind of kicking the can down the road until they do.
Like,
Which
hopefully there's just a pill that could take care of it.
which pill is going to come out, and why hasn't my doctor given it to me yet? People also go to the doctor requesting prescriptions, mainly because advertisements on the television. If you've ever watched daytime television, it's horrible,
Yeah.
but it's just one after another, and
And they
unbelievable. But
and they
people hear
speed
those
and they
things.
speed through that those side effects real quick
Yeah.
at the end.
And if you actually listen to them, you're like, oh well, gosh, I don't want any of that in my body. But
Yeah.
people are after that. They also put some celebrity on that commercial and thinking, well, I want their life. And if they take this pill, they feel great. So I want to feel that way. Instead of the doctor actually having that 20-minute consultation to say, what do you eat for breakfast? No one has that conversation because they don't really want to come to terms with they are actually responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. So now let's take it inside your book a little bit. Now, obviously, we know that so many people have been overtaken by this epidemic. Like, what can you tell the audience are the links between food, health, and weight that essentially their doctor hasn't told them?
Sure. The human body works on nutrients, and functions of the human body are all integrated and interconnected and work together. So things like liver function for detoxification, or thyroid function for metabolism rate, or adrenal function for stress management, or digestive function to break down the foods to nourish our human body. All these things have to work in order to maintain a healthy weight and decrease your chances of every illness in the world. But so what I tell people is, before you go to the doctor, if you have a symptom, you need to start to assess what that is, and your doctor should also help them do this too,
Yeah.
through the history of present illness. But they need to understand that their symptoms, whether it's fatigue or hair falling out or dry skin, it's a dysfunction inside the human body. Something is dysfunctional. One organ, one system, something's not going right. And the reason it's dysfunctional is because there's a deficiency, because micronutrients run every cell, every mitochondria, every little microorganism in the human body to make it thrive. So at the point we just go to the doctor and they don't discuss what you're eating and how much you're eating and how often you're eating, and even if your digestive system is working or your thyroid system is working like it should, they have to have that conversation to know that if you eat too much junk food, you will inherently you're going to have this progressive decline in your health, in the form of
Yeah.
your digestive system's going to stop working, your liver's going to become toxic, and then your metabolism will come down. The doctor has to have that conversation instead of saying, well, your blood pressure is high, it's because you need a blood pressure medication. Your blood sugar is high, you need a metformin type of sugar decreasing medication, or
Yeah.
you need synthroid to make your thyroid work better. Like, they have to change the conversation of, instead of just pushing a med at first, a medication, as the golden rule is, all right, maybe you're low on iodine and that's why your thyroid's not working. Maybe you don't eat enough fresh fish. Maybe your omega-3 oil intake is diminished. Maybe you're not eating enough probiotic food. That conversation is what needs to change. And the doctors don't have, unfortunately, enough time to do that, but
Yeah.
this has to happen.
Well, how do you feel about, a blood panel when it comes to that? Because I feel like, yeah, if they're just blindly giving out these medications, it's like, okay, these are your symptoms. Let's treat the symptoms with this pill. Why not test for those deficiencies in the micronutrients and, check, where they're at, so at least they have a good picture of what they actually need to take.
It's a great idea, and I wish there was a blood or a test that could do tissue level samples of vitamins and nutrients, but
Yeah.
they're not. They really can only test the blood tissue. That doesn't give you the exact kind of, I would say, overview of what's going on inside the thyroid gland or inside the adrenal gland itself,
No.
inside the actual, tissue of the human body. It's a great indicator, and it
Yeah.
would be nice. And blood work, and there are a lot of, functional medicine, holistic style MDs and things. They're doing more blood testing to test these things,
Yeah.
but it's not enough. And most people just do the generic, TSH for thyroid function or total cholesterol or HDL, LDL, and just use that as a blind rule of thumb, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It,
Uh, no,
yeah,
no, go
it
ahead.
can work. It can work, but then there's not enough education. And after that is saying, okay, your cholesterol is high. Let's talk about why it's high instead of
Correct.
you need a statin drug to lower your cholesterol. You're going to have heart disease and die. Like that's the only direction they take.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely think it's like part of the entire puzzle. Obviously I know there's more advanced blood testing panels that people
Hmm.
could do. Obviously, the better it is, the more expensive, but obviously I feel it's like an investment in your health. So you want to get, the wide array of testing as far as blood work. And then, like you said, go off what the dietary and lifestyle factors are in that person's life. So, now what are your thoughts? Because I got a lot of questions and messages in my direct, my DMs asking me about diets. I
Hmm.
know there's the keto, the paleo, the vegan, vegetarian, more of a balanced macronutrient diet.
Hmm.
What do you feel? Do you recommend one over the other, or is it more of just, as long as you're putting healthy, quality, nutritious food, whole foods in your body, that's the way to go?
Uh-huh.
Which one would you say is a good one to look at when it comes to weight loss and also long-term sustainability, because that's also important as well.
Sure. Sustainability is the most important thing in a diet change. So,
Yeah.
a diet plan, people are looking for something. The mentality is, I want to eat this diet until I lose this much weight. And then I want to be able to go back to the way I was, and it should work. Like that diet should work.
Yeah. Not
That's a
happening.
common misconception is
Yeah.
once I lose the weight, then I can go back to my old life and the weight comes back. Well, that diet didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, it really kind of messes up people's perspective of what food really is. And then the yo-yo dieting is a bigger problem than even starting a diet in the first place, because you're kind of wrecking the things. So in my office, what I do for patients is say, there is no real diet plan. There's only eating in a way that the human body is designed to eat, right? So there has paleo, and there's carnivore, and then there's vegetarian, and then all the way to vegan. All things considered, is if they're eating whole foods, it's better than eating your proper macros with macaroni and cheese and
McDonald's,
McDonald's
fast
and
food.
Oreos and everything like that. You can hit your
No.
macros with McDonald's. You can. It's not easy, but you can. It's still, the food doesn't have any nutrients inside of it. So we're eating a lot of caloric dense foods and nutrient deficient foods.
Yeah.
So whether it's paleo and or vegan or vegetarian, there's some holes in all those diets, but as long as they're sticking to basically fruits, vegetables, lean meats, nuts, they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Another problem is the volume of food we're eating. So that's another major factor in diet is 6 small meals a day can work for some people, but it's not how we're designed to eat.
Yeah.
As the caveman days, or back, 200-300 years ago, food wasn't readily available. There wasn't a gas station, a grocery store, and a convenience store every step of the way with any amount of these beautiful, well packaged and easy to read and delicious foods. It's terrible to say, but they are absolutely delicious. They are, and that's another problem is the
Yeah.
food that's terrible for you is delicious. But
They're high and they're highly addictive. They
yeah,
know what they're doing when what they put in there.
yeah, they want to sell the product.
Yeah.
It's making a profit. That's the capitalist way. But
Yeah.
so the problem is we're eating too much junk too often. So if you eat a paleo diet or you eat a vegan diet, and vegan has some holes in it, like B12 and omega-3 oils and the good fats that come from animal products.
Yeah.
There's some holes that you can supplement with.
Yeah.
Um, and you certainly can thrive on a vegan diet as long as you supplement with what needs to be done and adequate protein and decrease your overall weight training. But intermittent fasting, in my research, is the gold standard. If you're going to eat clean, also eat less often, and
Yep.
your body will increase growth hormone. It's going to increase your ghrelin levels. It's going to benefit your thyroid function. It's going to benefit your liver function, and your metabolic rate will stay up.
Yeah.
So yeah, whether it's paleo or clean eating, as long as you're eating whole foods in an intermittent style, it's the best combination.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you recommend, because I do intermittent fasting
Hmm.
right now, I'm trying not to eat past 9 p.m.
Hmm.
And then I won't, like, I actually wake up and I drink like 3 tall glasses of water, just
Hmm.
to get my entire system going. And I get a huge burst of energy just from that. And
Hmm.
maybe I'll just have a black coffee, and that'll take me into the early afternoon where, I get that 16-8
Hmm.
time frame. What do you suggest? Any breakdown of the hours or that eating window when it comes to intermittent fasting?
I think if you have a structure, it's going to decrease the ability for the body to really continue a metabolism. So
Yeah.
I like to mix it up. So
Okay.
one day you're going to do 16 hours, the next day you'll do 12, the next day you'll do a full 36. I eat it on like a feast and famine scenario, and I write about this quite a bit in my book. Is that's how our ancestors ate, because food wasn't readily available
Yeah.
every day at 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So you eat animal sources periodically. Like if you were a hunter, you weren't able to kill a buffalo every day. So you didn't
Exactly.
have meat sources every day, but you
Yeah.
could gather pretty much every day. There's fruits, berries, and some foliage you could eat most of the time. So when I'm not fasting I fast on meat more than I fast on total calories,
Hmm.
but you can have fruits and vegetables in kind of mixed around through there, because that's kind of how the body works, and it's loaded with the nutrients to make the body function.
Yeah.
So there's no hard set 16-hour 8 is best, or any
24
vice versa.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what I do is, like, some Mondays I'll eat a small breakfast, and I'll eat some dinner. Then Tuesday I'll just skip altogether. Don't eat it all, just water all day. Then Wednesday, have a breakfast and a lunch, and then don't eat dinner. And that's kind of how I keep mixing it up to make my body guessing all the time.
So I know a lot of people, they hear 24-hour fast, 36-hour
Mhm.
fast, and they get a little hesitant, they get a little scared. Can you just maybe explain to people, when you do go on those types of that length of a fast, what do you feel? Like, what benefits do you feel? How are you coping throughout the day? Obviously, I've done it before, so I know that I'm constantly chugging water.
Uh-huh.
When I hear those hunger pangs and feel those hunger
Hmm.
pangs come on, I'm drinking water. But how do you feel?
There is 100% a little brain fog
Yeah.
around and for me, and everyone's a little different. And no one should just jump in and say, I've never intermittent fasted before, but tomorrow I'm not going to eat food. Like, you're going to
Yeah.
have headaches. You're going to have all kinds of disarray. I mean, you're going to have some issues. But
Like
for
withdrawal
me,
symptoms, essentially.
yeah,
Yeah.
you really will. And especially those that are coming off this highly processed sodium rich food, they're going to
Yeah.
be a mess. And
Yeah.
for me, I'll do a 16-hour one day, then the next day, and then the next day I'll eat a little bit extra before I do the 24-hour fast. So I'm going to load up a little bit,
Load up. Yeah.
but there's no doubt. I mean, as a chiropractor, I need to be on top of my game. So I kind of explain to patients at some point, like, I am at 24 hours on a fast, and they understand it. So I don't talk as fast, and I'm not as sharp, because you do lose a little bit of that, you know, glycogen usage in the brain, or you do lose a little bit of your quickness.
Yeah.
But then again, when you drink some water, like you said, once you curb that ghrelin, and once you curb that stomach, uh, I would say intensity of wanting food, but your growth hormone levels will come up, and you will regain that mental clarity just a little bit. And then when you
Yeah.
find food, you go back in easy. You don't just grab a big meal. You'll eat a banana and then let that settle for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
good detoxer for your digestive system as well, taking a
100%.
24-hour, because it works all day every day, and people forget about that.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Now, in your book, you were quoted by saying, one of our biggest challenges that we face today regarding our health is the mixed emotions of who is responsible for it. Can you
Mhm.
explain that quote?
Yeah, there's so much misinformation about what's good, what helps you lose weight, what medications are good for, why they are good. And we are taught that medications are the normal. to maintain health. And people actually get frustrated that their doctor doesn't prescribe them what they ask for, or make them feel like they're amazing, or they'll have a bad doctor visit where the doctor doesn't listen to them. And for me, it's all about, you can't fix something or work on something unless you know how it works. And we've lost our way on, we don't, for the majority, don't know what foods are good for us, what foods are bad for us, and why we need to eat food in the first place.
Hmm.
So we always think that if we go to the doctor, they are going to tell us how to be healthy. Or if we go to the gym, our trainer is going to make us be healthy. Or if we go to a dietitian, they're going to tell me how to be healthy. But in reality, you have to do the research on your own. You have to start to learn what your body does. And you got to learn, and you also be intuitive of how your body feels, because at the end of the day, your doctor, your physical therapist, your nutritionist, no one is responsible. No one should care more about your health
Yeah.
than you do.
Yeah.
And once people grasp that and they understand that, it makes my care plan so much easier, because they know if they have a bad day of eating and they go to a buffet for breakfast and lunch, they messed up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
their fault. They,
Yeah.
they are responsible.
No, I agree. It has to come from within. You have to you have to make that decision to change when you're feeling like crap and you're eating all those crappy foods. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you more there. Now you had mentioned supplements as well in your book. Now, in a perfect world, we do get all our vitamins and minerals and overall nutrition from the foods that we eat.
Hmm.
But at the same time, the supplement industry is, billions of dollars worth. So can you explain to the audience why you believe that they're pretty much wasting their money on synthetic supplements?
I mean, we are basically, as a medical system, our medical system, trying to synthesize the idea of health.
Yeah.
Human function is a very organic and miraculous system. The way it's integrated, the way it has fail safes, the way it all works together, and the way it actually breaks down food in the stomach, assimilates it in the small intestine, is unbelievable. So the stomach is made to digest three things: proteins, fats, carbohydrates, for the most part, fruits, vegetables, nuts, animals. I mean, that's really all it's designed to break down. The pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry have also latched on to the fact that deficiency is a major problem. So they've tried to work their way into using synthetic ideas to basically supersede the deficiency epidemic we have. So
Right.
they're trying to create and manipulate synthetic vitamins that mimic what organic food does in the human body, and it's just not working.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever taken a Centrum multivitamin, they've seen their urine turn neon green. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't really work, and B complex is even worse. So what they're doing is they're deriving these products from a petroleum-based product in the B complex world for the most part, and the body doesn't understand what that really is. It almost works, but it's kind of confusing, and it's kind of teaching the body that, or not teaching the body, it's kind of showing the body that you're not getting what you really need, but you need to start learning to work on this. And
Yeah.
what's happening is the deficiency is creating distortions in our function. And that's kind of a complex way of putting it. But things like MTHFR mutation, I'm sure you've researched that and learned about
Mhm.
that, how B9 just doesn't really work in the human body. It doesn't
Yeah.
work with B12. It's because B9 is not just folic acid.
Yeah.
Folate is bigger than that. It's methylated. It's all these things. When you just take a non-methylated folic acid, the body doesn't really know how to use that in that methylation B9, B12 pump, and it makes the gears just not work right. So
Yeah.
then we have a little bit of what they consider a mutation, but that's just an adaptation to using the wrong folic acid. Instead of getting it from a plant source, we're getting it from some synthetic derivative in a pill
Yeah.
form. So,
So, I mean, is there any supplements out there that you do endorse? Like, let's say, for whatever reason, let's say vitamin D, the patient
mhm,
can't get out and get sunlight as much as they want. I know there's a lot of vitamin D3 supplements out
mhm,
there that, especially now during Corona, people have been quarantined. They've been
sure,
upping it. I've actually been upping my vitamin D intake if I
sure.
can't make it outside. So, like, are there any particular supplements that, if there are those nutritional gaps in your diet, that you could actually plug in and, be relatively hopeful and positive that, hey, you know what, it is having a benefit for me.
Sure. There's a lot of supplement companies out there deriving from organic whole food bases,
Okay.
right? They're extracting the isolates from the foods that the human body needs. And that's about as close as we can get to simulating eating organic whole foods, is
Got it.
taking them from, a farm that growed a plant and then extracted the B complexes or the minerals out of it. Um, so I personally in my office use a product called Standard Process. They're pretty renowned.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I also overlap with like some Biotics or Viatron. Metagenics has some good products that use isolates. There's ways out there,
Got it.
unfortunately. And really, in reality, these products don't cost much more than the stuff at your local CVS or Walmart.
Yeah.
But the low end vitamins, in my opinion, are the problem.
Yeah.
You really, again, you just pee them out for the most part, or
Got it.
excrete them the other way.
So whole food vitamin
Yeah,
sources, as well as, do your research on the, the upper echelon of the supplement industry.
absolutely.
Um, so let's talk a little bit about the weight management that you speak of in your book. Now,
Hmm.
what would you say are the main hormones and organ functions that we need to address to essentially get to and maintain a healthy weight?
Sure. Um, Function has to come from nutrients, right, from our food. So the the common epidemic of obesity or overweight is from eating too much processed foods. And what they do is they destroy digestive function first. That's a bad thing. So once you cut that out, and you start to clean up your diet, and then, eating the whole foods and the fruits, vegetables, and lean meats, your digestive system will naturally come back. But what they're going to also do is the good antioxidant nutrients will come and help your liver. Your liver is kind of that center function of all metabolics. So your thyroid function, your adrenal function, they all kind of meet and work in that liver. But when your digestive system's a mess, it just lets all kinds of toxins come to your liver and mess it up. So start with doing some, protein digestive enzymes or probiotics or something to help boost stomach acid function. And that's going to help the liver. But intermittent fasting, again, is going to elevate ghrelin levels, which is the hormone that makes us feel hungry.
Yep.
And we need to become kind of resistant to that. The biggest problem we have is we are resistant to leptin, which makes us feel full, and super sensitive to ghrelin. So as soon as we get hungry a little bit, we overeat. But our leptin doesn't really turn us off to make us not eat. So we just keep eating and eating and eating.
Right.
So it's a conscious decision to decrease your sensitivity to hunger. You got to fight through it a little bit. And yeah, use big jugs of water to get you through those things. But once you can get your ghrelin levels up and you can get that caloric restriction that doesn't feel painful, your growth hormone levels will come up, your cortisol levels will go down, your thyroid function will come up, and they all kind of work in sync with that intermittent fasting or feast and famine diet scenario. So there's no one function that matters the most. It's all of them. But if you eat the right foods at the right times, it will make them all work well.
What do you tell your patients about hydration? Because I know, like you just mentioned, drink some water when you do get those hunger pangs. I mean, I do that myself. Like, I feel like when I start drinking water, it's like, wow, the hunger pangs go away. It's like, I think I was more dehydrated than I was hungry. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I just think a lot of people don't drink enough water on a daily. What do you tell your patients about hydration? How much water do you recommend your patients drink on a daily?
The gold standard is, half your body weight in ounces is a good way of going
Wow.
about it. But for those that, and many of my patients drink maybe a glass a day, maybe
Mm,
none a day, maybe they
yeah.
just drink soda or tea.
Yeah.
Any is better than nothing. So whatever they're doing now, just increase it. If you were in an overweight scenario, increasing your water will change your weight. There's no way around it because you're going to curb some of that sugary sweet drinks, hopefully, by drinking water.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So he is the author of The Weight is Over, the links between food health and weight that your doctor hasn't told you. Doc, where can people find this book? Because I feel it can help a lot of people.
Absolutely. They'll learn quite a bit when they read it. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
Just search Dr. Mozingo. There's not many Mozingos on Amazon. So, and it should pop up. The Weight is Over, Dr. Mozingo. There's a few other titles like that, but my name should bring it up.
Okay.
Also, newstartsolution.com. If they go on there, any person can go for a free evaluation. It will, there's a health quiz that I've designed that has every symptom of the human body that you can pretty much have. It's like 120 questions of, do you experience this symptom on a sometimes, always, or never format? If they fill it out, they'll get a free report based upon dysfunction in their body. Tell them on a scale of 0 to 100 how healthy they are. It also give them a scale of 0 to 100 how well every function in the body is working. And I'm left-handed, so like 0 to 100 just works for me with numbers. But it'll
Mhm.
also, I mean, it's a free report. And if they have any questions, they're certainly welcome to email me from that website, and I'll help them out.
Okay, great. And also, any social handles that the people can know out there?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, Trent Mozingo DC. I'm not good at Twitter. I don't know.
Neither am I. Neither
I'm
am
not a
I.
very good tweeter. I don't know. I don't. Some people tweet a lot, and I got too much going on. But I'm
Yeah.
on there. If there's any questions, they certainly could ping me on any of those as well.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, I checked out your website and I see you do the laser assisted fat loss.
Uh huh.
I'm all about, natural health solutions like chiropractic. Obviously,
hmm
you're a colleague of mine. So, can you just talk a little bit about the laser assisted fat loss and how it works?
I use a Meridian Lapex BCS Pro laser in the office. It's a pretty simple and subtle change.
Okay.
The idea is it's supposed to simulate exercise to take the fat cell, perforate the outer levels with I think it's 638 nanometer per second light frequency or something like that. But it basically just opens the fat cells and lets the fluid drain out into the lymphatic system, and you'll metabolize it during the day. Results vary, but if
Yeah.
someone doesn't eat for 2 hours following the visit to keep them in that
No.
catabolic state, it helps a lot more. And it usually, 6 to 12 visits, and they feel quite a bit better, a little tighter in the midsection.
Yeah, and obviously, I imagine it's not just that; it's a complete program. I mean, you obviously have them
Sure.
eating the whole foods, the
hmm
non-processed foods. You have them exercising, and then along with the laser,
Yeah,
that's
it just
when the magic
complements it.
happens. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Okay, great, Doc. I just want to thank you for coming on, and hopefully, a lot of people can get a lot of great information from your book. I thank you
Sure.
so much for coming on.
I appreciate you having me on the show.
All right, Doc. Take care. Have a good one.